What is a cryptocurrency? Should I invest in a Bitcoin? What is a blockchain? Well, these are some of the pertinent questions hovering around us. In this episode, we shall make an effort to understand the concept of a blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Hello and a warm welcome. My name is Shubrato Mukherjee. A blockchain comprises of a chain of blocks containing information or transaction data that is monitored by peers or members in a network. It is essentially a digital, decentralized, and a peer to peer public ledger. A ledger is basically a book of accounts, as you know. The peers or members of the network are connected through their machines, which are called nodes. The decentralization in a blockchain makes it more secure and fast. Secure because there is no single point of entry for a hacker, and fast because it eliminates the bureaucracy of a centralized control. However, transactions made in a blockchain are irreversible. Not very clear, is it? Well, let us understand the blockchain concept through an example. Let's say a transaction is initiated. This transaction hits a blockchain network through an API or a programming interface. The peer members in the network assign a block containing the transaction information. This block is then subject to a consensus building, and once it is approved by a majority of peers or nodes in the network, the block then gets added to the relevant blockchain. Legitimizing a transaction happens through this consensus building mechanism only. A blockchain or a block in a blockchain comprises of a hash and the transaction data. The hash is the unique key that provides identification and encryption to the block. It also enables a block to be connected to its previous and the subsequent blocks. Also, the origin or the first block in a blockchain is called the genesis block. Now, due to this kind of an interlink, any change or attempt to fraud in any of the blocks would alter the parity of the chain and therefore invalidate a block. This is why it is impossible to tamper with the data in the blockchain. Moving on, what are the use cases of a blockchain? Is it cryptocurrency alone? And the answer is no. There are several other uses of a blockchain. Smart contracts. Smart contracts are pre-temporized contracts in the network that get executed real time and real fast when the entry conditions are met. Some of the areas where smart contracts have started making an impact in today's times are in the real estate space, where deeds can be executed in a jiffy, and also in the music industry space to legalize royalty agreements. In the trade finance and the supply chain sector, blockchain ensures payment certainty, delivery assurance of goods, documentation, speed, and automation. It basically builds the trust between the buyer and the seller through smart contracts. Blockchains are also relevant in the areas of cross border or international payments, conducting tamper proof elections, maintaining medical history of patients, and so on and so forth. Let us now try to decipher with an example as to how blockchain can play a potential role in the cross-border payments. This is how a traditional money transfer happens internationally through the SWIFT network. Say, for example, money needs to be transferred from the US to India. A request for the transfer is submitted to the sender's local bank. That flows across to the higher correspondent bank, and then under the guidance and regulations of the central banking clearing system, the money moves to the receiver end to follow a similar set of processes. Note that the central and the higher level banks in this case play the role of a big brother, which is unlike a blockchain, because a blockchain is decentralized, peer to peer, and consensus based and doesn't have a central regulating entity. Now, this kind of a traditional transfer has its own problems. It is time consuming. It takes around 3 to 5 business days for the transfer to happen end to end. There is lack of visibility of the transaction. There is possibility of money laundering. There are problems of currency fluctuation. There are dependencies related to the time zone between both the countries. And at the end of the day, there is a hefty commission that is charged. Now, moving on to a blockchain based scenario. A blockchain based international remittance can happen in no time and without any of the hassles discussed earlier. It is just an API based call to the blockchain network. And once the transaction is approved through a consensus, boom, the money is in the receiver's account almost instantaneously. So, what happens basically is a digital transfer of tokens between both the ends. The sender's account is debited and the receiver's account is credited with an equivalent digital currency. This process demonstrates all the features and the good things that we talked about blockchain some time back. They are fast, secure, decentralized, consensus based, and peer to peer. And finally, the cryptocurrencies. Undoubtedly, it is cryptocurrency that has made the technology of blockchain so popular. Cryptocurrencies are digital currencies or tokens similar to the physical or the fiat currencies like a dollar or a euro or a rupee. They carry a valuation and reside in our mobiles or laptops and can be used for a transaction. They are secure and encrypted as the name suggests and works on the concept of a blockchain. There are more than 5,000 plus cryptos and counting. And Bitcoin happens to be the most popular crypto amongst all of them. There are several others as well: Ripple, Ethereum, Polkadot, Dogecoin, and many more. Now, it is believed that Bitcoin was developed by a person called Nakamoto in 2008, which Nakamoto himself denies. He says he only solved the problem of double spending in a Bitcoin, which essentially means that a single token cannot be used for multiple purchases. So technically, no one knows who introduced the Bitcoin. Now, ironically, that's cryptic as well. Another fun fact: Dogecoin was actually introduced or released as a meme or a joke to make fun of people who invested blindly on cryptos. And guess what? People took that seriously as well, and Dogecoin became a super hit in no time with huge investments. India, for that matter, has the highest number of crypto investors, more than 10 crore. It is ahead of the UK and catching up with the Ukraine, Russia, and the US in terms of crypto users as a percentage of the population. The price fluctuation of a crypto is extremely volatile and it depends on a crypto's demand at any point of time. It was earlier envisaged that cryptos would become the de facto of the payment industry by the year 2027. Whilst that might sound a bit too optimistic, they are certainly making a mark. To conclude, it must be kept in mind that the RBI has recently made a statement to launch a crypto of its own in India and to ban private cryptocurrencies that are in circulation. The bill, called the Cryptocurrency and Regulation of Official Digital Currency Bill 2021, will be debated in the winter session of the Parliament, and the outcome would be eagerly awaited by millions of people. Therefore, it must be worthwhile to be aware of the latest regulations before investing any further. On that note, signing off for now, take care.